Good afternoon, Yang Mulia Tunku Tan Sri Datuk Sri Ahmad Yahya, Yang berbahagia Profesor Datuk Dr. Tunku Sarah binti Tunku Ahmad Yahya, Yang amat berbahagia Tun Musa Hitam, Yang amat berbahagia Tuan Zulaikha Shirdin, Her Excellency Miss Victoria Treadle, Yang berbahagia Tan Sri Datuk Dr. Gan Tian Leong, Yang berbahagia Datin Paduka Zaitun Datuk Othman, Professor Dr. Teo Sri Wang, and honorable guests. Thank you very much for joining us today at the Women With Drive Luncheon. It's a pleasure to have you with us here. Growing up, I must admit, cancer was something I always thought would only surface itself amongst those of the same age as my parents. It became a topic everyone feared simply because in everyone's minds, cancer equals a death sentence. Naturally, my friends and I deviated from even discussing it or even wanting to get to know about it. That was until I got diagnosed with breast cancer. My name is Hiba. I'm 27 years old and I was diagnosed with breast cancer at the age of 25. Believe it or not, I discovered a lump in my left breast at the age of 21. I went to see a gynecologist who then proceeded to refer me to a radiologist. Back then, I didn't know that there was a difference between seeing a gynecologist and a breast surgeon. When the radiologist did an ultrasound, I was told that it was a cyst and I should just get it checked on a yearly basis. Every year I went to get it checked and every year I was told the same thing. Then, in February 2015, I started to bleed from my nipple. Again, I went to see a radiologist and again I was told the same thing, that it was nothing. I was also told that my milk ducts were full and that it was normal for breastfeeding women. But I was neither married nor did I have any children at the time. I was referred to a breast surgeon who conducted an ultrasound, and that's when everything changed. She showed me that my breast had a cluster of white spots called calcifications, which are usually a sign of cancer. I had a large dark spot that indicated there was a tumor, and my lymph nodes were swollen. A biopsy and a CT scan later, I was confirmed as a stage 2B breast cancer patient. I have always been an extrovert and having cancer wasn't going to stop me from being myself. I reached out to the most important people in my lives, my family and my best friends. I remember the day I got the news, I wanted to move forward with my treatment as soon as possible. The doctor actually asked me, Hiba, are you okay? Do you need some time? And I said, no, I want to know what are my treatment options. I tried to stay positive for my mother because we had just lost my father a month before I was diagnosed. Now, my mother is truly a Wonder Woman. She never asked me to keep my illness a secret, but instead to embrace it and take it with my head held high. That is exactly what I did. My treatment consisted of 6 cycles of chemotherapy, a bilateral mastectomy without reconstruction, 15 rounds of radiation therapy, and 17 cycles of targeted therapy. I lost my hair and was bald for 4 months. I gained 10 kilos. I lost my appetite. I constantly felt nauseated, had body aches, lost my memory, and felt incredibly weak. Simple things like going up the stairs became a chore and became so difficult. There were many moments when I wanted to give up and stop all treatments. All of these side effects made me feel disconnected from my own body, but I kept going. Because every time I felt like I wanted to give up, I talked about it with my friends and my family. Throughout the course of my treatment, I also encouraged my friends and family to reach out to their friends and to talk about the struggles that they face. I know that cancer doesn't just affect me, but those around me as well, so I didn't want to place any restrictions on them. I wasn't ashamed of having cancer or of anyone telling their friends that I had cancer. I made it a point to be open with my medical team and it helped me tremendously. My nurses and my doctors are now my best friends and I will never forget how much they allowed me to be open with my struggles. After my surgery, I decided to reach out to more people. I became more open with my journey by sharing it on social media and giving talks like today. I must admit, the first few talks were tough as I didn't know what to talk about or how people would react. I kept most of my answers short and sweet, revealing the bare minimum of my journey. However, I realized the more openly I talked about it, the more I connected with those that are going through the same, the more aware people became, and the more comfortable they were with talking about it. I completely understand the fear of talking about cancer, the thought of being judged and the likes. When I decided to go through with surgery without reconstruction, I told a friend and she said, "But why? It's your breast. It's a part of you." And that made me feel quite down. Nonetheless, I was adamant on proceeding with my choice because I believe that I do not need two breasts to feel beautiful, and I'm not embarrassed to tell everybody that I only have one breast. After all, those who matter don't mind, and those who mind don't matter. My point is, I'm standing here, comfortable with talking about my journey, because the people that surrounded me encouraged me relentlessly. They were not afraid to talk about cancer, to be open about it, and they never judged me. I consider myself lucky because not many patients and survivors are given the opportunity to feel comfortable. I am thankful for my struggle because without it, I wouldn't have stumbled across my strength. With this, I urge everyone to speak up about cancer and to be aware that only when we start with ourselves, we would be able to reverse the silence of cancer. It is not about saying the perfect thing, but rather the effort. And when you bring that effort to reverse silence every single day, that's when the transformation can take place. And that effort begins with you. Thank you.